Namaste and welcome to today's episode. Every decade or two, we see a change in health condition worldwide. Let me try and explain. And this condition first happened in West, which got mimicked by East, countries like China, and then in countries like our country, which is India. It all started with high blood sugar leading to obesity. This happened in all the countries, and the trend is similar. Obesity leading to diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which has become common, and we are the diabetic capital of the world. One achievement that we should be shameful of. Then it led to cancer, and then it is leading to brain disease, Alzheimer, dementia, Parkinson's, and same trend is being common now. 20 years back, hardly anybody knew about Alzheimer, Parkinson to a level. Now, there is something known as blood brain barrier. Similarly to how we have a barrier in our gut, a lining which protects our gut from getting exposed to toxins and from preventing inflow and outflow of toxins and nutrient. Similarly, a brain also has got a blood brain barrier. Now, this blood brain barrier acts as a gatekeeper which allow entrance of various life enhancing nutrients, something like water, amino acids, and gases that are needed for our brain. Remember, our brain uses 25% of the total energy that we consume. Okay, while brain only weighs less than 3 pounds of an overall adult human being. Now, it is formed by cells that line the capillaries similar to a gut. So, in our gut, we know that there's a tube which has got a one cell thick lining which is joint tight junctions. These tight junctions are slightly permeable. When I say permeable means they are like a little mesh wire which allows only certain things to pass and certain things to stay. When this mesh becomes big, when this becomes more permeable, okay, and food that should have stayed is passing out, that is when it is called a leaky gut, and that is also known as a leaky brain syndrome. Okay, so we are seeing that blood-brain barrier has become a big issue in all the countries where we have seen high blood sugar, obesity, diabetes, cancer, and now brain-related issues. Uh, any number of brain issue, whether it is your mood, whether it is your thinking ability, whether it is your issues related to Alzheimer, dementia, they are all related to leakage in your blood-brain barrier. Now, scientists across the world are looking at how this happens, but most importantly, what people are looking at, how they can prevent it. Because knowing a solution is not an answer. Implementing that solution is the answer for any problem that we see. Now, what they also saw, the scientists, what they did, like in all clinical study, anything that is developed is first tested on mice or animals, and then it is moved to human clinical studies. So now we are doing some studies on mice. In mice, they have seen that mice which had poor gut health, okay, they were observed to have more leaky brain. So the connection between our gut and our brain is established there. A further step, they did a fecal implant of fecal material from a healthy mice, which is whose gut bacteria was healthy, diversified, into the one who had a poor gut and had a leaky brain. When the fecal transport was done, they saw that the brain behavior improved, the leaky gut syndrome reduced, which made them believe that our brain is connected to our gut, and anything that happens in our gut impacts our brain. So if you have a leaky gut, you'll definitely have a chance of moving to a leaky brain in future. Better gut bacteria improves what we call as brain degenerative neurotech factor, BDNF. Now BDNF is a sign that your brain is functioning better. So there are certain food, certain lifestyle choices which impact this, and this is something that we will discuss today. The biggest problem that anybody faces, okay, is inflammation. If you have chronic inflammation for long, you'll have a brain shrinkage later, and this does not happen overnight. In our current life, in your early adulthood, in your mid 30s, if you have consistent inflammation in your body, which is very easy to check through tests like ESR, HSCRP, they tell you, or if you have high insulin, if you have high blood sugar, you have certain underlying inflammation in your body. If you have stress, or their lifestyle choices are not right, you'll have inflammation. And if you have inflammation which is consistent during earlier part of your life, you are bound to be more prone to leaky brain issues later in your life. Now, dietary choices like limiting sugar and carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrate, means processed carbohydrate. The higher the processed carbohydrate is, the better it will be have an ability to increase your blood sugar. Okay, and you'll have higher inflammation. So, limiting sugar, avoiding carbohydrates, avoiding gluten. Okay, eliminating vegetable oil, especially corn oil, sunflower oil, increasing high intake of healthy fats like olive oil, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, okay, and eating food which is rich in fiber. You all know that I emphasize a lot on adding more fiber in our diet. Okay, we are getting less than 50% of our desired fiber, most of the population across the globe. Okay, these are all fundamental blocks, building blocks of lifestyle habits, and these are the fundamental blocks for building your gut health, and these are the only fundamental blocks that will help to bring your leaky brain syndrome down. Okay, and we also know that the degree of inflammation is impacted directly by the amount of gut bacteria health that you have. So if you have a poor gut health, you have more inflammation. If you have good gut health, you'll have less inflammation. And inflammation is directly proportional to your brain health as well. Now, the only challenge with leaky brain health is it does not show as symptoms early. So once the symptoms starts to come out, or you see, by that time the disease has already full blown inside. Okay, it has already blown to its full capacity, and now it is showing a symptom. Versus other where you have fatigue, you have issues, you have mood swings, and then you can imagine that I have a blood sugar problem, I have swelling, I have something of that sort. But brain, if the damage is done, it is done. You can't undo it. So the best is to manage your inflammation early in the life. Okay, how do you manage? Not by taking supplements, not by taking medicine, but doing lifestyle changes and doing it consistently every day for the rest of your life. Now, this is where preventive medicine or lifestyle medicine or functional medicine come in place, because you try to join the dots to understand what is causing this problem. Okay, and which is to disease which people say are not curable, things like Alzheimer, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and other neurodegenerative disease. Now, all these in conventional medicine world are lifelong disease, but you can definitely manage them, control them, put them in remission through your lifestyle changes. Now, another study was done was something known as dextran sodium sulfate, DSS. This was given in water, mixed in water and injected in mice for study, and for 26 days they were observed. When they had toxicity, okay, heavy metal toxicity in their body, which impacts their inflammation in the gut, they had inflamed gut, their ability or their brain barrier started to break, and they had a leaky brain. So that means the food choices you make, the toxic exposure that you have, and the stress that you take, these three impacts your gut health, and these three once impact your gut health gets you to inflammation, and that impacts your blood-brain barrier. Okay. Studies have shown that the bacteria in our gut impacts our mood. Okay, it regulates our appetite. It manufactures health-sustaining vitamins, because vitamins we don't make in our body. We need precursors to convert vitamins. Okay, controlling our immune system and inflammation, and even influencing our DNA. So everything starts in our gut. Gut controls our brain, not brain controls our gut. Okay, lifestyle choices that affect our health of our resident microbes are key for maintaining a good brain health and preventing brain disease later in the stage. So what can you do? Okay, what food, what dietary choices, what lifestyle changes you should implement to have a better gut health? Okay, first, you need to add more prebiotic fiber in your diet. More fiber from fruits and vegetables, from garlic, from onion, okay, from artichoke, from dark leafy green vegetables. Add a mix of raw and cooked in your diet. The more dietary fiber you have, the more prebiotic fiber that will go into your large intestine, the more food for your bacteria to thrive on, the more the population of bacteria and the diversity. So eat rainbow of food. What else you can do? You should stop eating sugar. Sugar reduces your BDNF capacity. Okay, it causes inflammation. Reduce gluten. If you can't avoid it, reduce gluten. If you can't reduce gluten in whole form or as a whole, then stop or reduce gluten in processed form. Okay, stop anything. Okay, anything that says artificial sweetener, whether it is in your drinks, whether it is in your energy bars, whether it is in your processed food, your healthy cereals, your flakes, anything that says artificial sweetener, you should just leave it, because that's the number one cause of leaky gut and the number one cause of leaky brain. Stop artificial sweeteners from your diet. Period. There is no discussion around once in a while, blue moon. No, there is nothing like that. You have to stop it. Third, fasting should be a part of life. Now, fasting, a lot of people say I do intermittent fasting and I don't eat for this window, but people should look at what you do in your eating phase. More than fasting, okay, fasting a lot of time becomes a fad. I would want to introduce to you something known as time restricted eating, TRE, which is very, very simple, that you fix timing for your meal. Have a window for your meal. So if you eat your breakfast at between 8 to 9, generally have a time to fix eating breakfast between 8 to 9, come what may, whether it is a Monday or a Sunday. Similarly, have fixed timing for your lunch, have a fixed time window for your dinner. Once you have this fixed time window, you stop eating in between. You give enough time for your brain and your gut to connect. Okay, it also gives time for a gut to do detoxification automatically. Okay. Also, if you have high stress level, so you need to recognize that you have our lifestyle choices, our way of living has increased our cortisol levels, our adrenal levels, our stress level. Look at managing them through meditation, yoga, gratitude journaling, okay, anything that brings peace to your mind, deep breathing. High adrenal and cortisol imbalance is also seen in resulting in low BDNF and a poor brain health in the longer run. Second, next thing, stop any genetically modified food. Okay, soy, corn, beet sugar, these are highly genetically modified crops. One of the highest ingredient that is put is an herbicide known as glyphosate, which is also known as Roundup, which is sprayed on crops to kill the weeds, but that still stays on your grain and on your food. And when you eat that, it impacts your gut lining, it impacts your brain lining. Okay, go back to eating your grains. Don't avoid grains. Don't avoid carbohydrates in the name of carbohydrates are bad. No, they are not bad if you're eating it the right way. Grain is your brain food. Okay, you do not want to starve your brain by saying that I will not eat. What else you can add in your diet? If you're a non-vegetarian, fatty fish, amazing source. Omega-3 essential oils or omega-3 fat, very good for brain health, very good for gut health. Turmeric, very good for brain health, very good for Alzheimer's, dementia. So adding more turmeric in your diet. Green tea extract, it has got a compound known as EGCG. So that is very good for your brain and your gut health. Coffee. Coffee is amazing for your liver. Coffee is amazing for your gut health. Coffee is very good for your brain. But have a ritual about having plain black coffee or a filter coffee, not mixing coffee with a lot of cream and flavors and sugar. Coffee is meant to be taken in during the day, not after evenings, because it will spike your cortisol. Coffee is best enjoyed the way it is made. No flavors, no gimmicks around it. Coffee is very good for managing, because it's got polyphenols, which is very good for managing your brain and your gut health. So if you are able to fix your gut health, you will be able to fix your brain health. If you're able to have good microbes in your gut, you'll have better brain barrier. If you have a better brain barrier, your brain cognitive behaviors, your mood imbalances, everything is taken care of by making those simple lifestyle changes. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone, and we'll come back soon. Namaste.